If we could please, it's 5:32, and if we could call this pre-meeting to order, if we could please, Mary, would you do a roll call, please?
Mr. Kirby.
Here.
Mr. Lopez.
Here.
Mr. Hennis.
Here.
Mr. Wright.
Here.
And Ms. Harrington. Here.
We appreciate everybody being here. One thing that we're going to swap, we're going to do swap C and D. Board agenda
Oh, you're gonna do
review and do executive session right after a Nova-based presentation,
Okay.
if we could please. And E would obviously flow back up into that. So we'll swap C and E, and then, excuse me, C and D, and then we'll and adjourn from executive session and adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
Alrighty, so anyway, appreciate it. Dr. Battle, you're on,
Yes,
please.
my pleasure. Is this on here? Thank you very much. Good evening, board members and community. We are excited today to share a lot about what we've been planning collectively in the city of Casa Grande in our district, but also with some wonderful members of our community now that are longstanding and really are excited about teaching and learning in Casa Grande Union High School District. And with that said, I'd like to have the head of schools, Ms. Crystal Danzy, who's going to come up and share some information about what we're doing with PACE as well as Innova for next year and also FY24.
And a quick question, would you like to recognize, we've got a couple of folks from the city?
Yes, sir.
She's gonna take care of it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, excuse me if I go back and forth, but time has played the joke on me. Sorry.
We give you a couple of minutes.
I'll know for next time. Thank you. I am going to be sharing just some updates and some information on two of some of the district's fruits of a vision that they have, the vision for our community and the vision for our students. One of the main reasons behind this is just the time and the change in times and what we need and what our kids need. And so the district has a vision for personalized learning, and these two particular schools are going to help support that vision for personalized learning, excuse me. One of those things, I definitely think all of these things together are something that will change the way we educate students and change the way students see education and what they can do. But each individual thing in and of itself is ultimately important as well. And I do believe each of these things is touched in not just Innova, which I'm going to be sharing a little bit about, but also PACE. So Innova is formerly CGOA, the Online Academy. The name is going to be changed. Innova stands for Innovative Occupations Virtual Academy. Innova is going to be slightly different than the original Online Academy in a number of ways, and here's a listing of those ways, trying to address some of those points in that vision for personalized learning. One is synchronous teacher-led virtual instruction, and that just means that the students are going to be, this time around, following the same bell schedule as the other campuses. Previously, they did not. It was more self-paced, a self-paced type scenario. This way, it's really set. Everybody's in the same place. Everybody has the same opportunity to interact with a teacher at the same time as needed. Curricular changes. Before this year, the curriculum used at the Online Academy was Edgenuity. We are going to be moving into using the district curriculum, which makes sense as you align with using real live teachers within the classrooms. We're also going to be using a program called Admentum for science, social studies, and some of the electives that we'll be offering. Staff, and this works out very, very well actually, staff will be shared across campuses as there are slots and spaces on Casa Grande Union's campus or Vista's campus where they do not have a math teacher who has a class at that moment and it's not their planning period. They'll be the ones instructing the Innova students in that content at that time. There'll be opportunities for advanced placement and dual credit courses with Innova. Also, the freshmen will have access to the Modern Classroom Project, which is a student-centered type of instruction where it's based on mastery of learning. It's based on forms of blended learning, and some of it is based on self-pacing too. So I think with the opportunity to allow students to be able to master their learning, we're gonna see more success from point A to point B and point B to point C for them. And this is one thing too, as I come out of the middle schools and the elementary district, helping those students to understand the need for really mastering what you are learning as opposed to just doing. I think it's a great opportunity for them to understand, you can't just do something for the sake of doing it, but it's about doing it very well and really diving in and understanding what you're doing, going deeper, having a deeper understanding of what they need to know. Also, ANOVA is going to allow for future opportunities for internships and opportunities to connect with community partners. Some of those community partners are here, and we're going to have a chance to meet some of them in a little bit.
Just, if you would please, just expand a little bit on shared staff across the district.
Yeah.
How you envision that place?
So what happens is sometimes, and we did this when I was at Desert Woods, sometimes there were teachers that, for whatever reason, there's not enough classes needed in that particular content area. So that teacher has a span of time over the course of however many periods. So maybe they have 2 periods out of their entire day where they do not have a class at the traditional campus, or during that time, they will be the ones who will be doing the synchronous instruction with the students of ANOVA.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And just the other clarification was, Modern Classroom is strictly a incoming freshman rollout?
At this point, it's for freshmen that I am aware of. That may change over time as we are developing and changing the decisions and the way that we're running the programs as we go.
If I might, Mr. Yes?
You bet, Lisa.
That's true across the district, that we are only rolling it out in not all freshmen, but, and I'll have Dr. Even speak to that as well, but in the core areas. And the reason why that's really important to, as we are starting, Innova used to be CGUHSD, but also as we are looking at PACE, you'll hear more about, it's important that we go slow there. So we start with our freshmen. So this is the first cohort. There will be no other classroom instruction inside the district at all in any other grade level. We do have one teacher at another campus because he's teaching honors. He has chosen to, and he's very familiar with another state of the tenets of Modern Classroom, but I just think this is an opportunity for everyone to know that this is not district-wide instructional changes at this time.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Can I jump in to clarify?
Yes.
So it is, for our incoming freshmen, it is their English, math, and the science courses will begin second semester.
Yes.
So beginning in the fall, it will just be their English and math classes.
Thank you, Dr.
Yes.
Ms. Danzy, Dr. Ballard and I had a couple of emails back and forth in regards to Edgenuity and Innova and the credit recovery portion of that, and is there a credit recovery portion in Innova that kind of takes the place of that when in Edgenuity the student failed a class because he wasn't good in certain areas, and they tested and they came back and they instructed him in those areas so he would get a passing grade. How does Innova work on that line, or is it work, or is it a credit recovery program for that? Tell me something about that.
I don't think we've had deep discussion about exactly what that's going to look like. Maybe Dr. Battle can speak on the expectation, the plans for that.
Sure, if I might.
Okay.
First of all, it's very important for school districts to have high hopes, high expectations that all kids will be successful. However, we implement strategies to ensure in a timely way that we are able to intervene with the learning. And because of what mastery learning does and will do for our districts, the timeliness will be even more precise. We won't wait till the end of a quarter or a semester for a kid to have failed the class, but we'll actually be able to intervene sooner. So as we try to discuss through email, there will not be a plan for Edgenuity or Edmentum to have a class or house kids that are credit deficient. What we will do is ensure that there are opportunities for kids to redeem their credit if they're not successful. So every school will have strategies to support students' success with high expectations, first and foremost, and then timely interventions, secondly. And then there are different tiers through MTSS that we'll be working through that you'll know more about. And then kids that are deficient in credit, they will not only be able to take 700 students right now in summer school. Other kids will retake classes. Other teachers might allow students to continue to have an extended school year. They have standards that they need to master, and they'll allow them to do that. Teachers will have the autonomy to do that as needed. So there are a variety of things that will be done to ensure kids graduate on time and are able to continue their career post-secondary learning.
So the initial plan right now is not have a credit recovery program at all, and anticipating all these kids are gonna be caught up to these special programs that we're going to have to make sure that they don't get behind. Is that what you're saying?
I think so, sir. I think that we will always have an opportunity to redeem and intervene. Every school, unfortunately, we have to, because not all kids learn at the same pace. So every school will have a program to address credit recovery and learning. But we won't have a program like we had with Edgenuity. And I think it's important, it's fair to Edgenuity as well. Edgenuity is a program that was used that Casa Grande ended up calling those classes edge classes because they were using Edgenuity. So I would hate to, in a public setting, say there was a problem with Edgenuity. We have transitioned away from Edgenuity to Edmentum to be used curricularly that will provide those courses that were mentioned earlier.
Okay.
However, what was also mentioned is that we're utilizing highly effective teachers across the district to help support some classes that we would not offer, have been able to offer in other districts or settings, because we are now being a little more creative, because all kids need access to courses, and enrollment should not be one, especially in rural districts, to negatively impact those opportunities to take the classes that are offered in every other district.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, so moving into PACE. Now, keep in mind as we talk through PACE, it is a work in progress. It is something that we are rolling out, and you will see in one of the slides, it is very extensive as far as the timeline and the things to be done, and we're just at the beginning. And so PACE stands for the Pathways to Accelerate a Career Experience. The main aspects of PACE are very much linked to some of the things we just spoke about with Innova. One of those things is mastery learning. So grades at PACE are going to be based, 90% of them are based on whether or not the student has mastered the skills or the learning targets that have been set for them. And about 10% will be based on effort, okay? In order for the teachers to remain fair and consistent, we will be using established grading rubrics for assignments and for projects. The focus is definitely going to be on individual growth, where the student starts and where they end up. And then at their senior year, they have the opportunity to complete a capstone project where they can just kind of display their learning through the course of their high school career. Engaging instruction is a focus of PACE, of Innova, and also the vision that the district has. When we say engaging instruction, we want students to really be involved in their learning, and we want to make sure that the staff members, all staff members, are also involved in student learning. And so some of the ways that we are going to do that is by creating learning centers, which are going to be workspaces, student workspaces, where students can work together and support each other, aside from the performance centers, which will be the classrooms where they get the actual instruction, they get the support from the staff. The goal is to create personalized learning and tailored project-based activities for them to do based off of their interest in their skills. Of course, all of this will be taken from surveys that we give to the students and discussions and conversations that they have with the staff and the success coaches in order to figure out, you know, what they want to focus on, what works for them, what their skill sets are, and where we're gonna go with their learning opportunity. Also, the students will have individualized learning plans, which will address a lot of what Mr. Wright was speaking of regarding their ability, their academic growth and where they are. When you have that individualized learning plan for those students, you're able to review it, and those plans will be reviewed at each vertical movement up. So there'll be a discussion with the students about where they are with that learning plan and how it needs to be modified.
Really quick, when you say each vertical movement up, do you mean from grade level?
From
At the end of the year.
grade level, from whatever the targeted learning, career focus, whatever was for that particular student and their learning plan, yes.
So about how often do the check-ins, are they projected to occur?
At every movement. So each time they move from one level to the next.
Gotcha, but how much time is typically in?
Well, that depends on the student, because the students will be allowed, if they have mastered the skills, or they've mastered the learning targets, then they move on. So it's dependent on the student's ability. It's very student focused.
Yeah, if you were to ballpark it though, you know, is it twice a year, you know, once a month, I mean, what?
I wouldn't say twice a year. The goal is to be, again, it depends on the student. So I can't have a definitive on how students will perform and their rate of growth and what they'll be able to do. But the goal, of course, if we're talking about moving them from one level to the next, and depending on what we're focused on, if we're focused on career skills or academic skills, it's going to, just the best practice would be to check in. I would say, because they're not following necessarily a quarterly path, I mean, at least it could be quarterly, but because it's self-paced, it's hard to say, you know, this is definitively when we're gonna check in. But yes, quarterly, and then that decision would be decided when you meet with the student and you can figure out, okay, this is their path for learning, and this is how often we need to check in with the student because some are more independent than others.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right, another idea behind having students be engaged in their learning is the opportunity to use digital adaptive learning programs and engaging digital opportunities like the use of the Oculus technology. And you'll get a chance to hear more about that, and you'll see a quick little video with one of the staff members actually using that piece of technology as we go through. And then you have all opportunity to reach out and have a chance to really interact with that technology outside of this forum. Self-paced personalized learning. We talked a little bit about this. When students are able to master their skills, they'll be able to move on to the next step, whatever that step is going to be. So they get to advance from performance center to performance center based on the evidence of their skills that they've mastered. Of course, using an established rubric in their performance and what those expectations are. And then they'll have multiple opportunities too for mastery of those standards. It's not just a one and done. It's okay, let's try this way. It didn't go so well, let's try it again. We wanna give them opportunities to, I guess, correct mistakes. Embracing a culture of error is what it is. Embracing a culture of error so that they're able to move forward without being stuck in that zone.
Question. Sorry,
Go.
I might have missed something. Is this like a program that works in conjunction with the regular schools? Or is this like its own school?
Starting separate as its own school. And the goal is to take these ideas and expand them out into the other campuses.
So are they still gonna be learning the core classes?
Yes, they're going to be learning and getting what they need in order to get their diplomas, but we're also going to be focusing on what is needed in order for them to be successful in life.
But if someone wanted to still go to physical school this wouldn't be an option for them?
PACE is going to be a physical school, yes.
No, like in person.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
And if I might-
Innova is virtual, PACE
Right,
is
okay,
they'll
gotcha.
actually.
I was like, I knew that one's virtual. This one, I was like, is this just PACE or is it working with the other campuses?
No, PACE, sorry if I didn't clarify that, PACE is actually in person.
And just as we were following kind of what I'm telling, so this is kind of pointing towards somebody who's looking for a specific career in something or has an idea of what they, you know, kind of want to do potentially, or?
I think it's helping to bring to light the opportunities that they have and what we have in our community, what they can do, because a lot of times students don't necessarily know what's available to them. And because of our the dynamics in this community and the changes, we have an opportunity to kind of set them up for things that maybe they weren't aware of or didn't know by using community partners and giving them the opportunity to focus on some career aspects. So yes, it's gonna cater to what they like to do and would like to do as well.
If I might,
Sure,
it's a very good question. At the beginning, and we're okay with the segue, and this is opportunistic for us to answer some questions for you. There is an educational action plan that every freshman is required by the state to complete, somewhat of a survey. Our counselors help to engage in that. Based upon that data, it would be prudent for school districts to develop learning pathways towards those career experiences that kiddos want. So yes, we will still be required in all of our schools, and Innova is a school. PACE opening 2024 is a school, accredited school, and of course our two in-person brick and mortar schools will be required to have the same graduation requirements and/or graduation requirements this board will be able to entertain. And we have a committee that's been established for next year. That's, again, best practices for schools to determine what graduation requirements we're going to have for our kiddos. So with that said, you're going to hear from our wonderful partners that are in the audience that we've been meeting ongoingly with, and I really appreciate every single one of them because they have a vested interest in the talent that comes through our schools. And not only the community, the district, and also our wonderful superintendent from our elementary school district is here too. You'll get to meet him. We are planned to do pre-K through 20. We're doing it deliberately, not hopeful, wishful thinking. And in order to do that, then not only will they get the talent that they need to help build upon so that their businesses can thrive and our economy can grow in the city of Casa Grande, unlike any other city in the country is our goal. And they will all say the same thing. We understand that we have to partner with them to accomplish those goals, but we have a responsibility to their academic performance and their academic achievement in our schools. And Dr. Leckie and I are looking forward to working together to accomplish those goals.
That's great, thank you for that clarification.
So is this something that, let's say, as a freshman, you have no idea that you might be interested in these things, so you decide to go to the traditional campus? Is it something you could transfer to like 2 years into your schooling? Because I know like my daughter is going into 8th grade next year. She would have no idea if she wants to do this, so I'd rather have her start in like a traditional setting, feel it out a little bit, you know, and then if a passion comes, have the opportunity.
Yeah, I don't think it's restricted to, you know, you start here, you end here. I definitely think the doors are open for any student across the district and any place else that wants to attend and wants the opportunity. And it's not necessarily a situation where they come in and, oh, you have to know exactly what you know, how many acres?
Exactly.
That rarely happens. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see, I'm 64 now.
Exactly, no, it's them getting the same education that they would get on a traditional campus, but also having a chance to kind of dive into what could be. All right, and I think Dr. Battle mentioned a little bit about our community partners. One of the other things that PACE will have, very similar to Innova, is access to college prep and college level dual credit courses with our partnership with CAC. Community connection and career and work readiness. There will be internship opportunities and or employment based on individual student goals. There'll be an opportunity for workplace simulations focused on the targeted skills needed from our community partners. And the teachers will have the opportunity to support these students by being trained with the Next Education Workforce Model. I do believe that's provided through ASU, and we're gonna speak with them and discuss what that looks like a little bit deeper. So the next slide you're gonna see is just a very quick, short clip of one of our subject experts teachers, Mr. Munoz, using the Oculus, which I mentioned earlier, just a piece of technology meant to get the students more involved. And I've had the chance to use and play with them a few times, and it is awesome. I was trying to explain to my father, was I answered yesterday, about the changes and what it's like using that, as we talked about getting students to be more connected to each other and not being afraid to do things. And it's a very safe environment.
You said play in an educational environment, all right?
In an education.
Yes. My problem is when you have to do it with music, that's the issue.
Well, we definitely have a responsibility to engage our students by keeping in line with what appeals to them. And technology is definitely something that appeals to them. And so the Oculus is just a tool and one example of the ways that we are trying to be forward thinking and how we get them to want to work, to want to try something new, to want to be in school, and to invest in themselves. And we can't do that without our community partners. Our community partners are going to, they're out here, introduce themselves and share a little bit of information, and we're just gonna go in order that you see on the display. So CAC is first.
It was a couple of years ago. It's kind of hope I'd be second or third so I can watch someone else do it first. But I'm Andy Long. I'm the new Dean of Enrollment Services. I moved out here in the first part of March from Southwest Nebraska, and it's kind of warm out here, I'll tell you that. I have to lose the jacket here, but we're thrilled with this partnership that's growing with Casa Grande here, because we've always done some dual enrollment, concurrent enrollment, but really Dr. Battle's kind of led and initiated some of these conversations on how can we take this a step further. And that's in the career and trades area, where we give them college credit for some of the classes they're taking. And we can qualify, teachers in the district as highly qualified to offer the college level classes, whether in the trades or whether in transfer degree. Those are classes that we have $0 tuition. So students get college credit for free with classes that qualified instructors here are already teaching. So we're thrilled to expand that. And when the students complete a college class while they're still in high school, whether they're going on for a 1-year certificate, 2-year trades degree, or going on to get a 4-year degree, they just have that confidence in that transcript that shows they can do it. So the conversation we had initially, appreciate Dr. Battle's creativity looking at how we can do it, because our biggest challenge is getting the qualified instructors, which is generally based on our accreditation, which allows us to transfer courses to all the other 4-year schools there. So got some really creative ideas. We're starting to work through some of that already there, but we're thrilled with this partnership. We're thrilled with the industrial partnership, because we have some of those already, and just building that pipeline. Because some students, what they get at the high school, will have them ready to go to get good local jobs. Some of them, if they go on and get some of those certificates, the advanced industrial technology, those are fantastic opportunities that are growing huge right now. So we're excited to be a part of these conversations and look forward to seeing this growth.
Thank you.
And so if I might, Mr. Raines is here. I know we've met, and also Mr. Wilkes, if you join him too. And also the mayor has met with us several times. And I've invited these wonderful gentlemen to speak to what we're doing and what our plans are for it.
Thank you, Dr. Battle, and chairman, members of the board, staff. From a city's perspective, we certainly appreciate the opportunity to be part of this community partnership that's being created. And as Dr. Battle has indicated, we have met with Dr. Battle and some of the team members on several occasions over the course of the last couple of years to really discuss what I would consider to be an alignment of what our visions and our goals and our expectations are in regards to building that pipeline to the industries that we're bringing. And you're going to get a chance to hear a little bit about from the industry leaders. They're going to hear a little bit from our Economic Development Director, Richard Wilkie, here in a second about what's going on in Casa Grande. But just to give everybody a context, we anticipate just with some of the employers here and some of the activity that we're enticing to come to our fine community, that we can see as many as 2,500 new jobs in the next couple of years. And I can assure you that we hear from our industry leaders on a regular basis. They tell us we need to do more to ensure that they're going to have a workforce in Casa Grande. And from a city's perspective, we are certainly attempting to do all that we can on the fronts of workforce development and assisting with education as well. And you know, I commonly tell my colleagues around the state, the city of Casa Grande developed a strategic plan in 2018. And my mayor and council elected to add education as one of the focus areas. And that was a little surprising to me. You know, municipal government in Arizona particularly, we don't oversee, as everybody knows, the educational structures like they may in the East. But and so there was a lot of dialogue about what the expectation was going to be of me by my elected body on that. And really what I think that we as a staff have focused on is the collaborative efforts from the elementary school district to the high school district into CAC and the like. And so there are, I've been in Casa Grande for 21 years, and I can honestly say that I see more alignment today than I've seen. And so I'm going to turn the mic over to Richard and let him talk a little bit about workforce development and technology. But I'd be remiss by sharing the mayor's regrets. He certainly wanted to be here this evening. He had a prior commitment. I think he evaluated whether or not he wanted to miss that event to come here because of his excitement for this topic. It's been one of his passions since he got on the council. But with that, I'll hand over the baton to Richard.
Larry, I want to make a mention that it was probably in 2018 that the district, under Dr. Beebe and our board, we forcefully began talking about developing a workforce development program.
Yes.
And the mayor jumped in with us and started helping putting that in place. And with the plumbing school that was down the way, that was part of that initial plan. And then we had a good head of steam, and then COVID hit.
Right.
And but what I'm seeing right now is this is absolutely wonderful, and kind of making this dream come true. And the mayor and I had several conversations about this. This is what we've been dreaming of. So I applaud you guys.
Thank you. Richard?
Good evening, everyone. And I'm not going to take too much of your time because I know you got a busy schedule here, but I think it's safe to say that everybody understands what kind of dynamic environment we are in today. Casa Grande has enjoyed a lot of great partnerships with our local manufacturing. We've had Hexone's been part of the community for 50 years. I mean, we get Abbott, Frito, and then 2015, and we started adding Franklin Food and Airman Dairy, and we started to see some, but nothing like we've seen today. And what this is, it's a challenge, but a great opportunity for us because we're now seeing a divestiture, basically diversification of our economy, which is always healthy, because now we're getting the EV, and whatever you want to say about electric vehicles, it's not a trend. It's going to continue, and now we're getting the semiconductor industry that's going to become part of our community. And you might have heard of Kohler. They're, kind of a nice, so Casa Grande is now getting looked at by some very significant companies, and it's not slowing down for us. My office has been very, very, in fact, all of us have been very, very busy engaging with not just those big companies, but a lot of other developers that are looking to come into the community. But from a workforce development standpoint, I also represent the city on the local workforce board here. And it's a great opportunity for us to, as a city, is help facilitate and support the efforts to help promote the education of our students about the possibilities in Casa Grande and get that alignment that Larry was talking about, of getting the industries connected. And there's some great partners that are in here that have already started to kind of align with CEC and high school districts and looking for those opportunities so that our students do, like, 8th grade, what do you want to do? I have no idea. But the goal here is to use this technology and to also get out and create more engaging and informative career expo opportunities and boot camps or something along those lines, so that students, when they're going into high school, they may not know, but they're getting more exposure to, did you know that these opportunities exist? And it's not just manufacturing, it's educating them about what true manufacturing includes. HR, chemistry. I mean, you take a look at it, and if you've got that science, or you can be a science, you want to be a lawyer, they've got need lawyers, you IT. And so there's a lot more to these industries that people, our students, really don't know. And, you know, a 17, 18-year-old, I'll speak for boys, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know. We were just laughing back here. Some of the college students are like, I don't know what I want. Our efforts are just to help support alignment and really kind of bring that opportunity to help educate those students. And we stand for it. We're ready to assist you in any ways. So thank you.
Thank you.
And then we have Jennifer, if you would be so kind, from Lucid. She hosted us for a nice tour, and she's joined us in some collaborative efforts between the institutions, and we're glad to have you this evening.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Dr. Battle. Thank you, board members. Yes, Jennifer Farner, I manage learning and development at Lucid. I'm very excited to be here tonight. As everybody said, we are growing, and we look forward to partnering with the local community to help with workforce development, help with student engagement, and really help everybody understand what career opportunities are available when you bring an EV manufacturer and you put them in the middle of the desert. Right now, we have just over 2,000 employees. We will have over 3,000 employees by the end of this year. And then we will continue to grow. I know, Dr. Battle, you are out there. If you haven't driven by the factory in the past few weeks, you will be amazed at how far it has come. We have 2.85 million square feet currently underway that will be up and running by the end of this year. We already partner with the CAC. We use their AIT program. One of the individuals on my staff is actually an adjunct professor there to help really grow and help educate the community around what we have available. We recently had our first student graduate from an internal program that we have. So she started off as an unskilled production worker. She went through an internal program combined with the CAC offers, and now she is a certified maintenance technician. We have 18 people enrolled in that program, and we could keep taking people in there as needed. So really, we look forward to partnering with all sorts of STEM activities, with Innova, with PACE, just to help students understand what's available, what careers are out there that maybe they never even dreamed that they could do. There is a pathway to get there, and you don't always have to go to college in order to be successful. We want to be able to find ways to help partner to build that curriculum to get the students the careers of their dreams. So thank you for having me here today, and I look forward to what's to come.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate the partnership.
Outstanding. And as we transition, I think I'd be remiss, I know Crystal did a great job. We have internships planned. The city has some kiddos they just hired not too long ago, I believe, as well. And also Lucid and others. So and our kids get credit for that. So it's just really important that we make purpose for our learning. So we have Anthony Ewing with Nicola. And would you please be so kind, come on. Oh, is he on the phone? He is, okay, so we'll give him credit.
Yes, Dr. Battle.
Okay, thank you, Scott, I'm so sorry about that. So we have Scott Vernon on the line, and he is partnering with us. We've met with him several times as well, and when he's back in town, maybe we can set up an opportunity for a face-to-face, but if you would be so kind, Mr. Vernon, we'd love to hear from you. With COLA.
Yeah, so obviously, we've only just begun our partnership with the community. We've made a 200-acre purchase, and we have extensive plans for a 2-phase project in and around the Casa Grande area. I am responsible for the talent development strategy for this new location. And so my partnerships with Casa Grande School District, as well as the Central Arizona College, have already started. In other communities where Kohler has factories existing, we have partnered with local school districts to create Kohler Academies right there in the high school program, so that those students have exposure to the technologies and the works. We're excited about PACE and the programs that are being talked about in this new school district for us, and we look forward to a fruitful opportunity to provide opportunities for those kids who come right out of high school, who want to go on to further education, and then come back to the community. And so that's really our intent, is to be a long-term community partner with the school district, as well as the community, to provide meaningful employment for the community itself.
That sounds good. Thank you very much. We look forward to that continued relationship.
Thank you very much. Outstanding. Okay, Mr. Young, please. With Nicole.
Thank you, Dr. Battle.
My pleasure.
So I'm Anthony Ewing. I am the Senior Human Resources Director at Nicola. I'm also the Site Human Resources Leader there. So I've been with Nicola for 9 months now. And as Ms. Farner mentioned, EV in the desert. A little bit challenging, but we're up to the task. And one of the ways that we've been innovative in helping to meet our demand is we actually bus people in daily to our facility. We're in phase 1 of a 4-phase expansion. So as she mentioned, how Lucid is growing, Nicola is growing at that same pace. We're not quite at the 2,000 employee level, but we'll be there very soon. As Mr. Wilkie said, EV is not a, flavor of the month. It's not the future, it's actually here now. And so I applaud the board and the school district for being innovative in the programs that you guys are rolling out, because it's going to be very beneficial to your students. So what we're looking to get out of this partnership is basically a pipeline of talent that we need to continue to grow our business and be a good community partner. Right now, we are having to hire a lot of, and there's nothing wrong with that, but we have to hire a lot of TN immigrants from Mexico. We have to hire a lot of H-1B candidates from India, China, and such. And we'd rather very much hire individuals in the local community if we could, but unfortunately, there's just not enough trained talent. And so this program will hopefully close that gap, because we do have a lot to offer. And as individuals before me have already said, you don't necessarily have to have a 4-year degree to be successful in this industry. There are a lot of opportunities for maintenance technicians, prototype technicians, welders, all skilled trades, very good paying jobs, great benefits. And at Nicola, everyone that works for us is an owner, so we give stock options to those individuals. And so it can be very lucrative for individuals that come and work for us. So we are definitely looking forward to working with the school district, with the board, and helping develop these programs, because we're not going to be successful unless you guys are successful. So thank you for inviting us, and we look forward to working with you guys. And I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the purple wearing gentleman. It's Prince's birthday. He's my favorite artist. I know you guys did that on purpose, but thank you. I want my clip. Good night, guys.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. That's a great reference.
Yes. And who's not here today, but we have a large meeting that's a gathering from Dr. Jim Runn's office at ASU, Access ASU. They're very excited about the continuity of learning as well. We all recognize that skill development and connecting learning to the skill is key for engaging kids, but also getting kids excited about learning. So ASU is a part of this as well, the next gen education workforce, not only building our talent as educators, but also preparing for the future. And then also what I'd like to do is take a moment, because he is a wonderful asset to the city of Casa Grande. And I'd like to read a little bit about Dr. Adam Leckie, and then he's here, and I'd love to have him make a couple of comments, as he and I will continue to work very closely together. So Dr. Adam Leckie has worked with individuals with disabilities over 20 years in the public education in the past 16 years. He has worked as a special education teacher, special education department chair, instructional coach, special education director, assistant superintendent for student services, and is currently the incoming superintendent for the Casa Grande Elementary School District. In that time, Adam has improved the outcomes of all students in his local school district through a focus of inclusive practices, high quality instruction, implementation of multi-tiered systems of support. You all will hear more about that this year. And effective social, emotional, and behavioral learning. In addition to his work in the public school system, Adam taught college courses and applied behavioral analysis, autism to university students. He is past president of AZ CASE and currently serves as the publications chair for the National Council of Administrators of Special Education. He was named the 2015 Early Career Special Education Director of the Year, 2019 Arizona Distinguished Administrator of the Year, 2019 Arizona Outstanding Dissertation Award winner, and the 2019 PBIS AZ Directors Award winner. Adam's publication includes contributions to the Journal of Special Education Leadership in 2016 and the Journal of Access, Equity, and Compliance in 2019, and the book Lucky 21, the General Education Teacher's Guide to Special Education in 2018. He has presented at numerous conferences as a panelist speaker on topics related to special education, leadership, inclusive practices, and behavioral support. Please welcome Dr. Adam.
Well, good evening, board. Good evening, Dr. Battle, and good evening, community and staff. That was quite an introduction. That's, I think, the first time anybody's read that out loud in the meeting before, so I really appreciate that and a warm welcome. I was sitting through the presentation that Ms. Danzy was presenting, and I myself was getting excited, even though I wasn't directly involved with the project. But I know it's going to benefit our kids and families. I have to tell you, I am a little disappointed because we are losing Ms. Danzy as a part of our district. And tonight I saw that on full display that you guys have an incredible leader coming in to lead this work. I think the industry leaders really framed our future in education really well when they talked about how we need to connect learning to applicable trades and skills earlier on in schooling. We used to have a mode and a model of education that really saw college as the only viable pathway to a successful career. And what we're finding is there's so many more opportunities for kids earlier on to connect with viable, meaningful learning that then gives them skills for them to be successful in the 21st century. So I was sitting through the presentation thinking about how we as an elementary school district can align our efforts to support the work that kids will be experiencing in the high school. And I think as the superintendent, my stewardship is over our students first, because that's our responsibility. But I would be neglectful if I didn't connect with Dr. Battle and ensure that what we were doing at the elementary school was preparing our kids to be successful in high school. We all serve the same community, so it's critical that we find ways to leverage our collective efforts to benefit kids. And that's a two-way street. And Dr. Battle and I had a great initial conversation about visioning out what that would look like between our two school districts and making sure that we're strengthening the relationship to our community, to our industry partners, and ensuring our kids are successful, not just in school, but beyond. I think the greatest evidence we can have of that work being successful is when our students are in high-paying, high-quality jobs in the community in which they grew up. And I think that's what we all want. And I can't tell you how excited I am to see these projects come to fruition, because Casa Grande, I have to tell you, is on the cusp of some amazing things. And I'm just proud and honored to be a part of that. I know Dr. Battle and I will work hand in hand as we steward both districts into the future. So I appreciate the opportunity to come speak with you guys. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited, because it sounds like some amazing, innovative things are happening in this district.
Thank you.
Well, we really thank you and truly look forward to having a really positive relationship and doing what's in the best interest of the kids of this community, to see them be successful going into the future. So we just look forward and creating that relationship and then fostering it as much as possible, whatever we can do as a board, and support everything that you guys are doing. So thank you very much for doing that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So with that, Chris, there you go.
Well, so as you can see, there is a lot for us to think about, for us to plan for. And so I just wanted to share with you, and you're not supposed to be able to see everything, the timeline and how many things we still have to decide upon, to act on, and it's going to take all of us working together to get to our end game and to see the vision through. I thank you for your time. I do want to invite you again, if you do want a more engaged experience with the Oculus, please reach out and come in and just kind of play around with it and get to see, you know, where we're going and what this technology can do to spark a bit of life. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, with that, I would thank you. We sure really appreciate all the community folks that are here this time. I mean, it is truly the only way this district and this community will be successful is in partnership and working together towards making the kids of Castro, this area successful. And, you know, the opportunity to give back, et cetera. So we're going to, at this point, we have an executive session plan, and we're going to, at this point, if we could get a motion to move into executive session. If you'd like a moment to make a sprint for the door, you're more than welcome to it. If you have something more fun and better to do, you are truly entitled to that. So if we get a motion to move into executive session.
I so move.
I have a motion by Taylor and a second by Chuck. And we're gonna ask everybody to speak, would you please? And we'll be in executive session just now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.